So the Tab S8 Plus, it released a little over 6 months ago, and a lot of you might be wondering if you should consider buying it today. You might be waffling back and forth between the Tab S8 or the Tab S8 Ultra, or maybe you fancy an iPad. Well, I'm here to tell you about the Tab S8 Plus. I don't really care a lot about iPads. This is Android Digest up in here. So with all that being said, let's get right into it, right after a quick word about our sponsor, Mint Mobile. And you may be surprised that I even have a sponsor today because I don't often have video sponsors, but I wanted Mint Mobile to sponsor this video because I really believe in them as a company. Mint Mobile provides prepaid phone service, but they do it at a great value with plans as low as $15 a month. And if you're like me, you probably want to save money on your cell phone bill. Well, Mint Mobile is all about saving you that money without compromising good service. And they run on the nation's largest 5G network. So if you click that link in the description, mintmobile.com/Android Digest, you could get started with Mint Mobile. They'll send you a SIM card in the mail, you'll activate it, pop it into your phone, and you'll be ready to go and ready to save some money. And if your phone is eSIM compatible, you can sign up and activate it immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your home. So thank you, Mint Mobile, for your sponsorship, and now let's get to the video. So the Tab S8 Plus, it did release at a retail price of about $900, $899.99, and that is a very high price for an Android tablet. A lot of you might think too high, and that's perfectly okay if you're not a tablet person, but a lot of us really love Android tablets, and this tablet has really differentiated itself from other tablets, and I really think this is the tablet that a lot of you should consider buying. First off, we have to understand that the market has changed since the launch of this tablet, and since the launch we've seen a lot of sales, we've seen a lot of really good deals, a lot of people are selling these on the used market for really good prices, so a lot has changed of course in the past 6 months or so, but also this tablet, I'm telling you, it is the perfect size for your average person. It is a 12-inch tablet. Now the Tab S8 Ultra, I did use that, I did a review on it 6 months later, and it really did grow on me. That 14.6-inch tablet is really large. It's great for those of you who need a huge canvas, but a lot of you might want more portability than that. Tablets are meant to be light and portable. They're not necessarily meant to always replace a laptop. Tablets are meant to have great screens and be good for watching videos, but they also need that portability factor, at least for most people. But the Tab S8 Plus gives you some of that portability while still giving you a lot of the features from the Tab S8 Ultra. Just a reminder for you that this does have lower latency in the S Pen compared to the Tab S8. This has the same lower latency that you get in the S8 Ultra. This also has an OLED screen, just like the S8 Ultra. The biggest difference, of course, is the screen size. And again, that screen size, from my understanding, it's been a little too much for some people. I've looked through my YouTube comments and I have seen some people who say, hey, I got the S8 Ultra, it's great, but it's a little bit too big for me. And I've got some people that got the regular Tab S8 and they maybe thought that was a little too small. The Tab S8 Plus is the best of both worlds, and I think at least when I'm looking at the overall consensus, I think it's really one of the best Android tablets you could buy today. And one of the biggest reasons for that is honestly the great software support that Samsung has provided. They have been very quick with updates, at least for the most part. Now we have that taskbar that you see on the Galaxy Z Fold 4. We have that feature that came to this tablet, so that really does help with multitasking. And I've seen some people claim that that taskbar is a little bit too small when you're looking at it on a 14-inch screen, right? But on this 12.4-inch screen, that taskbar does look big enough, and I really think that a lot of people, again, are really going to like these software features, and you get 4 big years of operating system updates. That's a really big deal if you are currently on an older Galaxy tablet. Think of yourself, if you have a Tab S7, you may get Android 13 eventually. I don't know when it's going to come out, but you're going to get Android 13. But outside of Android 13, you're not going to get any large Android updates. So for a lot of you on older tablets, you're about to lose software support, at least with big operating system updates, and you may want those updates. That's a really big deal. And since this tablet actually released with Android 12, you should get Android 13, Android 14, Android 15, and even Android 16. Of course, they extended their software support to make it a little bit longer for these Tab S8s and the Tab S8 series as a whole. And I think it's especially a big deal because they are working on foldables. They really do have a big emphasis on their tablets, so you are going to get a lot of new features over time. Now, I know a lot of you, if you look at this tablet, you're not going to be surprised when I tell you how gorgeous this screen is. It is an OLED screen, of course, absolutely gorgeous. It looks terrific with the colors. It's not that big, chunky S8 Ultra, but nonetheless, this is the really reliable model I think that a lot of you should look at. Now, I don't say all that to discourage you from getting the S8 Ultra. It's terrific for those of you who want the largest screen possible, but at the same time, you might want to save money, get a lot of those features, and gain a little bit of portability. So when I'm scrolling around on this tablet, it just feels so smooth. And when I'm using it day to day, I really enjoy the experience. Now, you need to understand it does have a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. There's a little bit of controversy with that because there was a little bit of throttling that Samsung was doing to slow down their tablets in order to keep the heat down. That processor does get a little bit warm, but honestly, I did not see any slowdowns in my day-to-day performance on the Tab S8 Plus. It still flew through everything I wanted to do. So yes, you might see slightly lower benchmarks compared to other devices with the same processor, but realistically, I don't think that's going to affect a lot of you because it didn't affect me, and I really scroll around a lot. I do a lot of multitasking, so this device is great for all of those things, and it's also great for gaming as well. You should be able to game on high settings. I'm not someone who plays the most intensive games, but this still will game very well, and this tablet has been holding up very well over time. Now, there are two different keyboard covers that do work with this device, and I did talk about them in another video. I actually covered the Tab S8 keyboard covers and the keyboard covers for the Tab S8 Plus, because technically speaking, the keyboard cover from the Tab S7 Plus, it does work with this Tab S8 Plus, and there's also another slim keyboard cover that came out for it as well. And one of the big things with this tablet that I really liked is the keyboard cover actually had a little bit more room to work with compared to the Tab S7. I never felt too crammed when I was using the keyboard cover on the Tab S8 Plus. It did feel just right, it felt just big enough for me. But when I used the keyboard cover for the Tab S8 Ultra, which I also made a video on, that keyboard cover was so big that whenever I got a little desk for my lap and I wanted to put that keyboard cover on, it was too big to even fit on my lap desk. That's because when you have a 14.6-inch device, it's already a big screen, you have a huge keyboard, but then you also have to fit the kickstand on the back end, so I wasn't able to extend it very far to get it to work on that lap desk. So that's why having a compact form factor can be good, but this tablet still has a bigger keyboard than something like the Tab S8. So I thought this tablet really fit well with my lifestyle, and if you compare it to, again, other tablets out there, I think this tablet will be a great size. So this tablet has a lot to like about it. It does have great speakers. The fingerprint sensor is not an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, but it still does work pretty good for me. But outside of that, there's just not a lot that I dislike with this tablet. This tablet is very, very fast. It works great for everything I'm doing. Of course, it has Samsung DeX, and Samsung DeX is terrific for multitasking. It really works well when I'm trying to do 2 or 3 different things at once and have multiple floating windows open just like I do on a laptop. It really does help me to be more productive. So when you look at the overall package with this tablet, I have to say it's absolutely tremendous. This tablet does go on sale off and on. You may see $100 off here, maybe $200 off there, and you will also see some great trade-in deals from Samsung on their website. There's also educational discounts that they have on their website as well, and sometimes if you bundle this tablet with a phone, sometimes Samsung will give you a little bit of an extra discount. But if you're looking at this tablet at its full price, I understand it's a lot to pay for a tablet, but I have to say this tablet has only gotten better with updates, so this is a tablet I would highly recommend. And this has been a really big theme for me when I go through the Tab S8 or the Tab S8 Plus or the Tab S8 Ultra. The big thing for you as a consumer is going to be looking at what size of tablet is right for you. It's easy to get caught up in all the minor details, but all 3 of these tablets are terrific, and it really just depends on what size of tablet you really want and what features you really need. If you have to have OLED, if you really want an OLED screen, well, that does mark out the Tab S8. Or if you have to have that slightly lower latency on the S Pen, then that does rule out the Tab S8. So then you're going between the S8 Plus and the S8 Ultra, and you really have to decide on how big of a tablet you want and how big your budget is. Those are really the two main factors that you have to think about when you're looking between the S8 Plus and the S8 Ultra. And the Tab S8, I'm telling you, it's not a bad tablet at all. It still has 120 Hz. It still has the same power. So if you don't mind it not having an OLED screen, it's still a terrific tablet that I think you should consider if you want something more portable, and if you don't mind having a crammed keyboard cover. That is, if you're gonna buy the Samsung keyboard cover. But if you're someone who wants an OLED screen, if you're someone who wants all of these great features that you get in the Tab S8 Plus and the S8 Ultra, you really just have to ask yourself, how big of a tablet do I really want, and how much of a tablet can I afford? And if I'm honest, I think a lot of you should go with the Tab S8 Plus. Now, a lot of you are gonna go with the Ultra, and honestly, with my experience, I've grown in love with the Ultra over time. I've grown in love with that larger screen size, and now I would personally prefer the Ultra, just because that's my personal taste. But I really think more people are going to prefer the Tab S8 Plus because it is a lot more portable, and especially if you're buying a cheaper case with it, you still get a lot of those same features, you get the same power, and you get a beautiful OLED screen. So overall, I think it's a great tablet. I still highly recommend the Tab S8 Plus, and if you're interested in it, one way to support me is to use those links in the description, or you can actually use my link to Mint Mobile, of course, at mintmobile.com/Android Digest, and you could use that to save a little money on your wireless bill. So thanks again, thanks for watching and supporting. Feel free to check out some other videos, and I hope you have a tremendous day and a tremendous week.